to introduce all of us. My name is Alan Brody. I'm the founder of the iBreakfast. Probably one of the true pioneers here, because I was here when there was no internet and we were producing stuff for it. So I just want to tell you that it was unimaginable maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, to have all of you folks in this room thinking about becoming entrepreneurs in New York. This is a complete sea change. So having said that, how's that? Okay, good. So we've been helping entrepreneurs all over the country and in other places of the world too, become investable. So I'm here because I have a book coming out called Are You Fundable? And you probably know that a very small percentage of startups get funded, probably 2 or 3%. However, a lot more than 3% of starting up companies go into business. So there's lots of other ways to get funded. There's lots of other ways to launch a business other than getting money from investors. I'm not here to tell you not to get money from investors, but I'm here to tell you a little bit about the rules of the road. Because investors, and I should step back a moment, my background's in advertising and marketing, and I know the research that the ad industry has done on consumers. Everybody has a psychology and they have a way of thinking. Investors have a way of thinking. And you need to understand how they evaluate a startup company. And when you understand that, and when you understand who you are and what you're representing, you will understand whether you're fundable, how to make yourself fundable, or how to forget about the fundability issue and go do your own thing, because you can. So I'm here to tell you what goes on in their minds. And it's a very interesting thing, and I promise you that if you understand that, you will save yourself a lot of trouble, And I can tell you about the companies that made lots of money and why they did, and it's never what you think, but that's another story. So that's my introduction. Next I'd like to introduce you to the chairman of the board, Brian Cohen.
Thank you. This is a really great panel. The thing you need to know is that we're all good friends, and we all collaborate and work together in the city to help you. To the greatest extent, I think it's an honor to do what I do, to have the opportunity of spending time with as many of you, as many of the talent that I see on an ongoing basis. So being at an opportune moment to be in a presentation like this, I heard the last presentation, and I really want to correct something that was said. When you are doing term sheets, it's about fairness on both sides, right? It's not about any one person really winning. Both have to win. And the first people who give you money, 90% of all money comes from angel investors. I think you all know that. The people who love you most, unfortunately, in this investment world, are the people who get hurt very quickly. And so when you're actually working out those term sheets, think about the fact that those are the people who were there first for you, and that they have responsibilities to protect themselves. And some of the things that you don't always put into your term sheets, you should think about and ask, are we protecting you, our first investors, particularly if they're friends and family, right? That didn't really come out. It's not a transaction the way it sounded. It's about finding fairness on both sides. And it doesn't mean that one has to lose anything to be fair. Some of the stuff they were talking about kind of went over everybody's head, but just keep that in mind. The people who give you money first are the people who care about and took the biggest risk. Make sure that they are taken care of, that they deserve it, right? Okay. So I'm the chairman of the New York Angels. We put about $49, $50 million for about 70 companies in New York. I don't think there's anybody more invested in startups in New York than we are. I've been doing angel investing since they called it stupid investing. It is still a black art. There aren't very many people who have made money from angel investing. We all think we all make lots of money, but we don't. I was fortunate enough to be the first investor in a particular company called Pinterest. So from my standpoint as an angel investor, I'm done, right? It's, in many cases, some people that are on-off business, binary business. So we all look for the big opportunities, but the fact is they're not always on the Pinterest level. Angel investors and New York Angels do look for opportunities that can, in fact, be 1x, 2x, 3x. It's not like a VC that's for larger money. Okay, very important to note that. There's about 100 of us. We meet on a monthly basis. We're really operating like a business. We apply to the New York Angels on our website. Yes, it's true. We say no 98% of the time. I I think we should say no more. I think the issues in the angel investing world are complicated, and a lot of people make a lot of bad investments. And they don't do enough analysis and review and due diligence, which I spell D-O diligence, not D-U-E diligence. There's a lot of issues that this young man here, who I happen to have a great deal of respect for, said about what goes on inside our heads. He's absolutely right. A lot of angel investing isn't about what's on paper, but what's inside here, actually, in your heart. And a lot of the issues that I have learned about angel investing is coming out of my book, published by McGraw-Hill in April, where that sounds a little dramatic, but an angel insider reveals how to raise money for your $1 billion idea. And it's really very personal. And I think a lot of the issues that don't get explored are personal things. I built all my businesses here in New York, 3-time entrepreneur, built the world's largest PR agency in the tech space with Ann Erickson, built publishing businesses, went to high school down the street here, so this is my kid. I'm here to offer as much guidance and advice as I can through the eyes of an entrepreneur. Historically, when I'm an entrepreneur again, my son Trace and I launched a new company in May at Tech Meetup on stage. I was the oldest, I think I was told, entrepreneur to go on the stage. It was wonderful to do it again. It's called Launch It, launch.it. It's to build out a website for everybody to launch all new products, totally free. And we just got our contract from the Consumer Electronics Show to power their news this year. I went after the biggest client as an entrepreneur and got him. So don't think small. It's nice to thank you. Thank you. And I'm actually wrestling with the fact of whether or not I'm going to raise some money, which sounds kind of weird, but it's really about finding smart money. That's what I think you should always look for, smart money. So you'll learn a little bit more, and here's my associate.
I'll make this quick. I'm just here to pick up Twitter followers. So if you want to know what I'm thinking, you don't have to buy my book. You just follow me on Twitter, CEO NYC. Startup, I put together a small seed fund out in Brooklyn. I've had the benefit of working for 2 of the best VC firms in New York, First Round Capital and Union Square Ventures, and I'm just kind of generally here to help.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. So without further ado, introduce the panel. I'm sure they introduced themselves already. Charlie O'Donnell, Brian Cohen, Alan Brody. And we're going to sort of switch it up a little bit tonight. Damon John, who is here and will be out in a moment, is actually going to moderate. So I will be sitting in one of the chairs, and Damon will actually engage. So it's a new kind of experience that you guys will have to get to experience tonight. Without further ado, I present our moderator, Sir Damon John.
Hey guys. Oh, wow, this is a tight room. All right. Thank you guys for having me. So you introduced the whole panel already,
Yes.
right? All right, we're starting over you?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. All right. Well, when considering an investment, do you like to stick with industries that you are familiar with, and/or is it a mistake for an entrepreneur to approach you if it's not your industry that you know well or have invested in before?
Generally, I tend to stick with entertainment industries or industries I know well, just because of the fact that I know I can spot trouble signs when I've invested in companies before. And so it helps me to better get a feel if I'm going in a deal, I can best help the entrepreneur to get to the next stage. So I generally stick with industries I am familiar with in that regard.
Well, it's absolutely true that you should do your homework and find out what investors have invested in before. And if they've done well in a particular type of investment, they're always going to be inclined to invest again in that kind of deal. Never exactly the same. But having said that, in the angel world, you do get to know that certain investors have an avocation. They may have spent 20 years as a corporate lawyer, but they may have taken an interest in say, ballet. And so if you have a business that somehow touches on that, you may find it's a soft spot. But you really have to know that. Generally speaking, you can only pitch people the kinds of businesses that come from. But angel investors oftentimes have an avocation. You can figure out what that is and address it, you may get money.
You can go to the New York Angel site and literally go down to everybody's LinkedIn. And you can see see what their backgrounds are. That's certainly important. Personally, I invest across the board. From the standpoint of not wanting to be myopic and for looking at a portfolio theory. I'm a professional angel investor, so I'm looking to broaden the chances and possibilities of winning and being successful at those decisions. But I've got an advantage. I've got industry sector specialists at New York Angels, and I rely on them to give me some specific insight. So I take advantage of that. So most recently, I made an investment in men's underwear. Never thought I would do that. That took me way out of my comfort zone. But I'm wearing them now, and they're extremely comfortable.
I don't know how I'm going to top that. I think the key really is to find investors who are really, really psyched about what they're doing. The best answer that you can get from an investor is yes. The very close second is no. And when somebody gives you no, just move on. That's too many times I've responded to people saying, you know, I'm really not that psyched about this deal. And they persist and sell and sell and sell. And frankly, it's really a waste of your time, right? Because you could be out finding some other investor that's much more interested, that believes in you more, and you'll find that person, but it's very tough to take somebody who says, you know, I'm just really not psyched about what you're doing, I don't think I'm the right fit here, to turn that person into a yes. It's a lot better to just find a person who's really much more supportive of you. So I'll do a wide variety of tech-related industries. I've done B2B cloud storage-related stuff, all the way down to an e-commerce company that also does in-person sales called Clothing Isabel. So I'm two fashion-related companies, but I can't dress myself. So, you know, I'm basically open. I'm sure it surprise me as long as it has something to do with tech. But if I'm not psyched, move on.
Okay, so one of the key components to you know, how you guys are raising capital on this platform is the fact that you guys would love to have co-founders. Now, how important is it for you guys to invest in a team versus a solo company?
That's always my thing. I've always liked teams just because there's so much stuff to do. I mean, anything that you're doing in a company, generally, you're not the best at everything. And whether you have finance, legal, different departments, it's always good to have someone, in my opinion, who can bounce ideas off of you. But more importantly, it kind of vets your idea. If you can get 2 or 3 people, whether they're co-founders, whatever level, to work with you for free, that means maybe your idea does have some weight. But if the people who are closest to you are not willing to even jump into your idea, then you may have to rethink your plans. So co-founders, in my experience, and other investors may have different experiences, teams are generally preferred versus a solo entrepreneur.
So let me give you a little background to my book, which is called Are You Fundable? And the idea of Are You Fundable is this. There's a hierarchy, okay, of what investors look for. And a team, obviously, and not just any team, but a working team. People that have worked together. But that's not common in a very young entrepreneur. There's just one person has an idea. So they're going to look for somebody who can attract like-minded people that can work with them.